Hi, welcome. My name is Amy Hyde, and I'm a business manager here at Side. Thank you for attending today's session, How to Train and Retain a Team of Producing Agents. Thank you, panelists, for being here as well. Our next speaker really needs no introduction. Our famous Verl Workman is a dear friend of Side and runs one of the most successful coaching companies in real estate. As CEO of Workman Success, Verl and his team have created a customized training platform for brokers and agents to provide real team solutions for our changing landscape. In fact, Side has partnered with Workman Success to offer all of you free access to his dynamic training modules, and many of our partners hire Verl and his team to work as their real estate coach. For more than 20 years, Verl has led agents, brokers, and teams with enthusiasm, determination, and systems that have created top producers and real estate millionaires. Verl's greatest success is measured by how he teaches his clients to have balance in their lives as they grow their businesses. As a father of 6, Verl also believes that success in the home leads to success in business. Please welcome real estate expert, incredible team builder, and our dear friend Verl Workman.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy. All right, so we have this unbelievable panel of experts, but before we get started, I'd like to share with everybody just a couple of thoughts. Would that be okay with everybody? The first one is this, is that people don't leave companies, they leave leaders. And so when we talk about retaining and recruiting and retaining, and you have a turnover problem, oftentimes we like to blame everybody but ourselves. But if you'll just look in the mirror and ask the question, why are people really leaving? I think you'll find the answer. And so, I don't believe we have people problems. Generally, we have process problems. And if we aren't able to keep our people, then we have to look at the processes that we put them through to make sure that they're succeeding in real estate. Is we develop and coach so many high performers, in not only inside but all across the country. What I've learned is a few things, and I'm going to give you a few nuggets. So everybody grab a pen and write some things down. I'm going to give you some things that I want everybody to start measuring. The best recruiter is success. And so it's really difficult to have somebody join you when you don't know what you're doing. And so the more signs you have in yards, the more successful you appear, and the more people are going to want to hang out with you. You guys sell a lot of real estate. And because you sell a lot of real estate, people want to be part of your team. And it's different. When you're successful, you don't recruit, you interview. And the dynamics is so different. When you're trying to talk someone in to join you, then it becomes a discussion on commission. When you're interviewing someone to see if they're a good fit for your team and your culture, then they have to sell you on why you should take a shot at allowing them to be part of your organization, and it's a different dynamic. And so for me, I'm going to tell you that we have to look at some things, and we have to create success habits. So I'm going to give you a couple of them right now. The first one is this: listings matter. Like, no matter what you focus on, we're really good at generating buyer leads. We can generate more buyer leads than there are buyers in the world. Is that true? You're all getting Zillow Flex, and we're turning all these buyer leads on. But listings is where the money is made. When you list a property, everybody is selling your home. When you have a buyer, you're competing with everybody for one home. It takes maybe 2 hours or 3 hours to list a property. You spend 20 or 30 hours with a buyer. Now here's the number. For every listing you generate, you should close 1.5 buy-side transactions. Write it down. So when you look at your year, if you're 50-50, you left 50% on the table. So for every listing, you should generate 1.5 buy-sides. The next thing that's important, the next number is this, is that every listing should generate between 6 and 8 leads per month. So when you have a listing, when you work the listing effectively, every listing generates 6 to 8 leads. So if you have 10 listings, you should have between 60 and 80 leads a month coming into your team. The way that we determine whether or not we're going to hire is a formula. For every 25 leads we generate, we add a buyer's agent. So when you look at your lead count and you track it from every resource, if you have 100 leads and you don't have more, and you have 1 or 2 buyer's agents, you're overwhelming them and they're not following up with the B's and the C's, and so you have a very low conversion percentage. Does that make sense? All right, so systems for everything. The next thing was we were getting ready to start, and I was asking some of you what you wanted to get away from here. How many of you just wish you could do more if you had more time? Is that like, if I just had more time, Verl? Okay, nobody has any more time than anybody else. The difference between the average and the exceptional is that the exceptional choose to spend their time on different activities. It has nothing to do with the quality of the individual. I know amazing individuals that are in poverty, and I know average people that make a lot of money because they do the basic fundamentals better. And so I want you to think about that. Everything you do is a choice. The next thing is delegation. So as we're talking about recruiting and retaining, a lot of leaders struggle with recruiting because they want people to do the business like they do it. But you're the leaders of your companies. And if you hired people that were leaders of companies, they won't be with you very long. There's a reason as an entrepreneur you're in the role you're in, because you're wired differently. Entrepreneurs just wired differently. Y'all agree with that? Like there's nobody sitting up here needs me to call them and motivate them to get up and go to work. They get up and they eat rejection for breakfast, and then they go out and do it again the next day, and they succeed at a really high level because they're wired differently. So when you hire people, we hire people to be the best they can be, not compared to me. And so our role as leaders is business development and people development. Great assistants aren't hired, they're created. Great buyer's agents aren't hired, they're created. Great listing partners aren't hired, they're created. Now, as we have our discussion today, and we're going to get right into it in just about 2 minutes, I want you to think about two types of people that we recruit. And so as a broker owner, we found that many broker owners struggle because they're running their own real estate business and they need their production to fund the brokerage while they're building it up until it gets there. And so they spend so much time transactionally doing buyers and sellers that they don't spend enough time recruiting and building. Does this relate to anybody at all? Everybody's nodding with me? Okay, all right, so how do we get there? So the way that we get there is I want you to think about building your team, which is different than your office. So we have team agents over here, and we have office agents over here. So when we talk about recruiting, we hire team agents differently than we hire office agents. Office agents sometimes come with experience. We provide great side resources and tools for them to be able to get integrated, and we make it easier for them to do business. That's why we all join side. Team agents, on the other hand, work on a different split. If you overcompensate team members, then you don't have the motivation to give them your A leads because it costs you too much money. So for example, we put buyer's agents on 45% splits, and then listing partners get paid 25 to 30%. Now, everybody says, well, why would anybody work for you on that kind of a split, right? Well, the answer is that we create an environment where they make more money on a lower split because all they have to do is prospect, list or show houses, and negotiate contracts. And everything else is done by the team. So we create an environment that allows them to focus on the things that generate revenue. So as we go into our discussion today, and you talk to our friends from Side that have different sizes of businesses, and they all have different business models, I want you to think about the team members that they're recruiting, and then the office agents they're recruiting. And the beautiful thing about being a Side partner is, if you're developing team members when they get really good, instead of being afraid of them leaving, we partner with them and we move them over to the brokerage side and help them build their teams. And so if you'll help people in your companies become successful, whatever they want to build, I promise you, you'll be successful in whatever you want to build. If you take care of people and help them get what they want, everything you dream of will be taken care of. And so thank you. As we go into the panel about how to recruit and retain, we're going to talk about some systems. Everybody take a picture of this screen. It's going to go away in 1 second. I'm going to give you a system called 8651. It's how to close 86 transactions working with 50 people 1 hour a day. You follow that one, it's awesome. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about a little bit about daily success habits and creating a culture of productivity. I'm going to give you the DSH tracker and the whole system we use. And then as we get into core values, core values is one of the most important things we do in recruiting and retention. And we'll let our panel talk a little bit about that. And it's how we build our core values and how we build teams on those values. So you guys ready for a great panel? All right, so, it's after lunch, it's the end of the day, and nothing is more challenging to be on a panel without having any interaction. So when you hear something great, let the panelists know you appreciate it. So let me go next, and let's introduce our great panel. So first of all, I have to my left, this is Jeffrey Bebach and Dana Holmes, and they're with Front Gate Real Estate. I had Bayside in my mind. I don't know why. Nobody from Bayside's here, but they're in the audience. They're with Front Gate Real Estate. They have a tremendous business, and it's been really fun to watch them grow over the last year. We've been working together for about a year. Is it about a year now? And it's really interesting to watch the transition of the leaders as they move from production into developing other people and watching them grow. Jeff shared with me a little bit earlier today that I thought was such a cool thing is show them your bracelets really quick. Hold up your left hands. Both of you have these bracelets on. This is all of their teams wrote their goals for the year, and they open up, and there's a little capsule inside where they put their goal and what the real why is. Yeah. And how many of your team members have hit their goals? All of them. Every single one. Come on, that's huge, right?
Hasn't been a year yet either, so it's good.
And the year's not up yet, so they've already hit their goals. What's cool about that is when you talk about culture, I'm thinking about the culture they create. When you sit down and you do vision boards and then you write your goals down, then you put them in a capsule and everybody has it on their wrist as a constant reminder. That's just a brilliant idea. I'm totally going to use it. Like, I got that. I know. Let's go next. Let's go to Brian. I don't have the mouse, so I can't. There you go. There's Brian. Okay, now, every business has a unique flavor. They have their secret sauce. Brian's coached by one of my coaches, Cleve Gaddis, right? Yes, sir. And I met Brian for the second time the other night, and we were sitting down, and he was showing me what they do with lead generation, and they generate so many leads they have to give them out. They refer them out to other people. He has an incredible business. They do, and you have a partner. Your partner is?
Yeah, my work wife is right there, Austin Glass.
Where's Austin? Rockstar Austin. There he is, right there. Okay, so tell us about where you are. You're in right in LA.
Yeah, we're mostly in Orange County, and we have 21 agents now, but we also have agents in San Diego, LA, and Riverside.
And how long have you been a side partner?
It's been about 15 months now.
15 months now. And Jeff and Dan are there in Calabasas? Yeah. And how long have you been with Side?
It's been about 8 months. I think it's been about 8 months, 9 months.
About 8 months.
Yeah, November, first year, it'd be the first year.
And how's the transition been for you?
Oh, it's amazing. We have our own name. We just love it. It's ever since we've made this change and did the coaching on top of it, it's just been a game changer for us. So it's exciting. We get up excited about real estate again. And I remember at one point I would get up and just be like, oh God, I got to do this shit again and get beat up. And we get up and we are very excited about it because we love it. And it's our big why now. So
it's fun helping others, right? As you watch them be successful. Let's go to the next slide. So everybody say hi to Nancy Reynolds. Right out of Silicon Valley. So Nancy, tell us a little bit about the team that you're with and what you do with them.
Sure. So I'm with Rainmaker Real Estate. We're based in Los Altos, and we serve most of Silicon Valley. And we have 5 full-time agents. 2 are in our training program right now, slated to graduate probably by the end of the year. On our team, I think in the last 12 months, we've done just short of $180 million between us 5 agents and 80 transactions. And we're just here to serve our clients and serve the agent community to the best of our ability, raise the level of professionalism, and have fun.
So I love that, and I love your energy. Thanks for sharing with us. No, so I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, we'd have to do like 800 units to do 125 million. So that's whenever I'm in California, we always joke about this. All of my where's my Californians? Raise your hands. All right, okay. So, all right, Californians, I got to tell you something. Like, stop telling people how much you sold. Tell me how many houses it was. Like, somebody sold a $35 million house last week, so that's only one. Like, what did you do the rest of the year, right? Like, I want to know how many families we serve. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on the families we serve. So just have a little bit of fun with that. All right, so I'm going to sit down and just join the panel, and we're just going to go through and have a conversation. And I want to make sure that we leave a few minutes for questions because this is a great group. And so the first question I'd like to ask you is, when we talk about retention, what would you see the single most important thing is with your team on keeping people with you when they start to succeed? And maybe we'll go Jeff and Dana and then Brian, and then we'll come back the other way next time.
You want to go?
Dana prefers to talk, so whatever you'd like to say, Dana.
I am the simple one. I sit back. I am a real estate agent. That's what I do. When Jeff and I met, it was after both of us had been managing for a while, then we came back, and it was probably a year later when we decided to team up, and it was really more to aspire us to grow to a different level. I've always been an agent. I'm still an agent. He's the numbers guy. He's the creative guy. He's the one who gets really excited to come in and bring in the team. What I see from my desk is the communication is key, and the core values. If you combine a bunch of good agents, some are going to be good, some are bad, but if you have one that is a bit of a disruptor, it will suck the life out of you. And we'll start having to make excuses for one versus the other, and it's very subliminal in the beginning. You don't really notice it until it's usually a big deal.
So what do you do with them?
We have to let them go.
We release them to share their gifts with others.
They move to another community.
Right, we're
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
none of this, you're fired. It's just
Right.
like we release you, be free.
But I do feel from a simple side is that it's almost like a family, and having dinner together at night, and just making sure your kids are on the right track, and asking them questions, asking them about their friends and what time they're going to be home, and are their parents going to be there, and all of those things that they really don't want to talk about that they need, but they need it. They need, that was something that I learned during COVID, being with our prior brokerage, is that it was empty for a long time, and I think that was one of the things that are probably the prominent reason that we chose to move on, is we didn't need them anymore, and we felt that if we were going to be doing what we're doing for someone else, we might as well be doing it for us, and create our own home and our own values.
Love that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So tell us what your core values are. You have them memorized? How many have their core values memorized? Raise your hand. All right, how many of you have core values in the audience? Have a set of core values that you have for your business? How many of you know what they are? All right. All right, so if you don't know what they are, then what is their value? I'm just throwing that out there. Just give that a thought. What are yours?
So this was hard for us because when we sat down, we had to do it for both of us. We had to sit down and say, what are our core values? What do we wake up for in the morning? Why are we doing this? So our first core value is we have each other's back. If we're going to be a team, we have to have each other's back in any circumstance. When one wins, everybody wins. When one loses, we pick them back up, put them back on the truck, and send them on their way. The second one is our client's back. And we do the right thing every time for our client. We don't put commissions first, we put our clients first. No matter, screw the deal. It's about them, and it's about serving them. The third thing is that we have our communities back. So anything that we do, we're part of the community, and we strive to do whatever we can to help build the community up as much as we can. And then the fourth, actually it's the third, but the fourth is our families back. So all of this is worthless if, and all of us have been here before. We're real estate agents, and let's not fool ourselves. We've been to little Johnny's baseball game, and we're looking at our phone. Or we're at dinner with our spouses, and we're looking at our phone. And it will suck the life out of you, and it will create problems. So it's that time thing that Verl was talking about. So we're putting this team concept together, and we're building our own brand to buy time. And then we're going to teach our agents how to buy time. And you do that through processes, operational excellence, and systems, and we just tie that into the core values. So if anybody breaches those core values, like Dana was saying, you just cut them out like cancer, because it's cancer. And if we're not seeing the same things and having the same vision, then we can't go to the same goal. So
how do you like the simplicity of those core values? We have each other's back, we have our clients' back, we have our families' back, and we have communities back, the 4 backs.
Yep, 4 backs.
I love it. I love it. All right, so Brian, let's talk to you a little bit. What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, but not as good as you. So tell me a little bit about tell us a little bit about your team. Like how many people on your team? Give us a little bit of background.
So right now we have 18 people on our team model, and we have 3 agents on our brokerage model. And essentially those 3 agents kind of don't really need our help to generate their business. They know what they're doing, but they can still reach out to us at any time if they need help. And they also have access to all of our systems that the team does. They are available to come to all of our meetings if they want to, or none at all. It's up to them. But on the team, you have to show up to every single meeting, no matter what.
So that's a culture thing, and if they don't?
The leads get turned off.
And how big a deal is that for your team?
It's everything. For the most part, a lot of the agents that are newer don't know how to generate leads on their own, so they rely on us. And kind of going back to kind of how we keep the value with them is, we keep them accountable, but we've also asked them to keep us accountable. If we are not providing them enough opportunities, we need them to tell us, so then we can make a shift and then bring that value back to where it was.
I think it's really interesting that as a leader, you've asked your people to hold you accountable. I think as leaders, we feel like that's our job, to hold our people accountable. But it really is a two-way street. And
it has to be.
That's a culture thing. That's intentional.
Right, correct.
And so what's something that your team has held you accountable to that you had to adjust?
I didn't get enough leads this month.
Right, you told them what you deliver and you didn't deliver it.
Correct. Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Get them more leads, get them more opportunities. And, you know, with just the last couple months with the iOS 14 release, our lead cost doubled almost overnight. And because of that, we didn't have enough opportunities to give to everybody, so we had to dig deep and we went to our pocket and spent some more money. And, you know, we said that we were gonna do that. They signed up with us because of that. And if, you know, we're not holding ourselves to our contract, why should we be able to hold them?
So Brian, I'm gonna ask this, and you can answer it if you don't want, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but at any level of business, whether you're doing 50 deals or 250 deals, is lead generation a problem?
Is it what?
Can you generate leads at any level?
Anytime.
Like, how many of you would like to know what is in his secret sauce? Like, I can generate, like, and so is it you teach everybody to knock doors and cold call, or do you have systems and technology and you spend a little money?
We spend a lot of money, but we don't concentrate it on just one allocation of leads. Like, we have multiple different lead sources that we pull from. Some have higher ROIs than the others. Some we convert at a higher rate. And we just want a nice mix, right? Like, we just got on Zillow Flex, and it's been great so far. We've got a lot more opportunities for our team. We've all worked with Zillow. We know they can change their mind overnight, and that could be gone. And if that happens, we need to rely on all of our other lead sources that we have.
Love that. So just real quick on retention, when you have that many people on the team, do you have a revolving door, or are you able to retain and keep them? And what are some of the tactics that you use in really keeping people with you, besides just feeding them?
Honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with Austin, my business partner. He has more time to give to them on a personal level and do the one-on-ones. You know, like, we deeply care about every single agent that joins our team because they've taken a chance on us. And so we want to let them know that we care. And, like, if they're not making enough money, we want to shift what we have to do in order to get them to the next level so they're not living paycheck to paycheck and they can, you know, go on vacations. We actually tell our agents before they sign on, are you okay taking a week off every quarter just to go reset? And everyone's like, wait, what? You want us to take some time off?
Right. How many freaks you out when you think about that? Like, when was the last time you took off a week a quarter? But that's a culture thing. And so when you build culture around core values that says, I need you to go be with your family for a week every quarter, you attract a different type of person that actually wants to make a difference. So I think that's beautiful. Like, I freak, like, I'm fine leaving, but when my wife goes out of town for a week, it causes all kinds of problems for me because she runs the world.
Sure. I mean, we kind of made it a deal. This is kind of the one time that's happened is Austin and I can't leave at the same time, but here we are.
Right, that makes it harder, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so Nancy, let's talk to you a little bit. You gave us a little bit of background on your team, and tell us a little bit about your culture. What's the culture of your team? Do you have a set of core values? How do you run it?
I can't say we have a written set of core values. I'm very impressed with yours. So was Alex, our founder. But we definitely innately operate, I think, from a set of core values, and really it's about, you know, having an open mindset all the time so we can continue to learn and grow and serve our client base to the best of our ability. Of course, having an abundance mindset also, I think, is really important. It's definitely something that I learned when I started working even more with Side, right, when we joined about 16 months ago. And yeah, so like I said, we don't have them written down, but I think we all operate off of them pretty religiously. Our team, so we have right now only one independent agent, and the rest of them are our team agents. And we really focus on sales training. So we don't pay for leads. Right? So whenever chasing business, our leads basically all search us out. So they're warm to hot already by the time we get them or we pass them on to our team members. So that said, our job, my job in particular, besides selling real estate, is to teach them how to convert, right? So I believe that there's this flow of small conversions from the point you get a prospect all the way to getting them into contract and beyond. And we are intensely training them on every single one of those points and, you know, supporting them. And I think most importantly, helping them build confidence to go out and just try, because what we know is, we know that they will fail. What we want them to know is that we will be there to pick them back up and help them again. And then ultimately, we want to give them as much opportunity as possible My partner likes to say, to touch the ball, because he's a guy, and it's sports, right? But we want to give them as much opportunity as possible to really engage and interact alongside us with, real estate business, with real people in real time, and actually get paid while they're learning. So I think we all can relate that in the big brokerage model. You sign up, and then maybe they have a couple of, maybe they have some sessions of training, whatever. Every brokerage does it different. But eventually, you're kind of on your own island, and there's not really somebody dedicated to supporting you. And then on top of it, basically bringing you along with their business so you can get paid. And we like to, what does Brian Buffini say? Like to eat food with our dinner. It's hard to do that, I think, in a lot of other organizations.
That's true. She said a couple things that really resonated with me. One was that you develop your people so they're getting paid while they're learning. And I hope everybody picked that up, that like as leaders, and this is a room full of leaders, you should never go on a transaction by yourself because you're not developing your leverage. You'll never have leverage in your life or your business if you don't have somebody in development. You should always have somebody with you. If you're in production, have a buyer or seller with you. And we have that conversation all the time. And I love that you have that as part of your culture, is that we develop our people to succeed and they get paid in the process. So thank you for sharing that. Everybody's culture is either accidentally created or it's intentionally created. And you just have to decide. Everybody has a culture, right? So you can all decide what you want that to be like. So Jeff, let's talk about recruiting for a minute, because this is something that's hot on our coaching list right now. We were on a coaching call the other day, and I was talking to Jeff, and we did his lead count. And based on the number of leads that are coming in, for every 25 leads, you need to hire another buyer's agent. What was your number? How many buyer's agents do you need?
20.
Say that again?
20.
And what's your
20 agents. Dan is finding out about this right now. We have to hire 20 people in 3 weeks. So anyway,
we need 20 people, and we need them right now. We got to turn leads off. You're spending money generating leads, and there's nobody to work them. And if you're giving them more than 25 a month, they can't follow up with them. And so all you're doing is, hurting your brand equity in there.
3 months, that's 75, and then they start falling apart because they're not following up with those leads. And we know we have to, cultivate those leads, and it takes time. So they were saturated.
Would anybody freak out if I told you need to hire 20 people in the next 30 to 45 days?
I did.
Right. So what are you going to do?
I went and got a list of 250 agents that have sold 3 properties in the last year. So they're newer, they know how to do a transaction, they're not dangerous or we're gonna get sued. But I just went through the list and came up with a script, and I'm basically gonna just have them all come to the office, and we're gonna go through, we're gonna have a hiring process, and whoever makes first cut goes the second cut, and then we just go from there basically, So
we're gonna do group hires. How many of you want them lining up at your door, coming in 20 at a time? Like, who wants some of that? Like, I love that. They all want to be with, and like, are you going to pay them 80/20s? What are you going to? What's the comp plan?
if they're going to go on that plan, it's 35%.
Yep. And so we're going to hire good people that want to make at least $100,000, and we're going to put them on a team and create an environment that allows them to succeed.
Well, there's enough leads for them to close 2 transactions a month. So if you do the math on it based on that split, it's a nice payday. And we're going to get our operations to the point where they could do 3 or 4. And it's worth it because these are leads that are just basically falling from the sky. And like I think you said earlier, Verl, what are the 3 things that you want them doing? You want them out to transactions, prospecting, and just being out there with basically just being with their clients, doing showings, doing everything they're supposed to be doing. So you keep them busy with that. And I think I was talking to you earlier about that, right? And he's got some great systems too, where he actually has a contract to close system I thought was brilliant, and he's going to assist the agents so they can keep them out there working so that they're just not getting stuck in the mud and in a transaction, because that's where we all know we get stuck basically. So it's just stuff, and this is what's great about this event, what's great about Workman, what's great about Side is that we can sit here and talk to all these great people. I mean, we came up with some just great ideas. We're going to do a lot of business together.
Mintgate.
Yep, Mintgate.
I love it.
We're going to form a little mini thing or whatever. But yeah, so we're getting all these great ideas and collaborations from each other, and everybody here is here to collaborate. And you can pull a little bit from every person, and every person that we spoke to was all super willing to, basically, it's not secrets. We're just trading ideas and sharing and being, successful with it. So don't be afraid to ask. People will tell. You want to know anything about us? Feel free to ask. We'll tell you anything about what we're doing. more than happy to.
I love the culture in a mastermind, and this is very much side where the agents get together, and I had a lady show up, and we were going to talk to each other and kind of share best practice, and she brought everything she had done to rebrand her team. All the new marketing, all of the mailers, all of the listing presentations, buyer presentations, and one for everybody at the table. And somebody asked her, why do you share this? And she said, well, because they'll copy everything except my hard work.
Love that.
And there really is some truth to that, right?
Well, you could give somebody the operation manual of everything that you do, and there's a really good chance they're not going to be able to do it, because it's there. You got to have everything else behind it,
Okay, Brian, give me some nuggets, man. I need some you've got 18 people. How do you get them? Like, what is your go get the agent strategy? Give me a couple of nuggets that I can take it away and do something with it.
So we've got most of our agents from 2 different places. One has been Wise Hire that we were turned on to by Anthony Margolis at Amalfi Estates, and Austin sticks on that and changes the ad set for it every single week just to refresh it. And just since this weekend, we've got 13 new applications that we have to interview next week. So that's been a lot, and then it's really just asking your local vendors, your lenders, your title, your escrow officers, anybody that's in the business that knows these agents and knows who's talented. We try and identify people that know what they're doing, but just need more opportunity. And we found that those are absolutely the best hires.
I think that's really great. So if you don't know who Wise Hire is like a job board. They collaborate all the resumes of people looking for work, and they submit it to all these other job boards, and it's a fairly inexpensive model. It's maybe about $150 a month, and they have hiring coaches that will work with you on your ad to help you adjust it. And then we've put in a bunch of Workman templates for different positions on teams. And so as a Workman client, if they know you're with Workman, they'll open up a whole bunch of templates for hiring a buyer's agent, listing partner, administrative assistant, and then they'll help tweak with it. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, we even hired our first admin just a couple of weeks ago, and that we found her in Georgia, and she was running a team of 400. So she's coming to our team of 21 like this is a piece of cake.
Yeah, and it's a national job board. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah.
So it's excited to have her come on board.
Game changing. Everybody that's afraid to hire an admin and not come out of pocket for that cost, just rip off the Band-Aid and do it.
So Nancy, I want to ask you about a little bit, you brought up agent development. And so tell me a little bit about the systems that you're running. What are the things that you put an agent in when they join your team to get them into production and make them money faster?
So we have a really regimented or structured process. And we do this because we feel like agents, whether they're new or whether they've been selling real estate for a long time, but they've really never just thrived, right? And if they have an open mindset and they're ready to change the way they're doing things, I think we can help them. And we have helped them, actually, it's proven. But basically, our training program, we call it our REunite residency program because we liken them to, they're qualified, they have a license, maybe they have some experience, but now they're going to go to work under pretty intense direct supervision, and we bring them along, like I said, on 6 transactions. Okay, we don't have a time limit of how quickly this has to happen. We're definitely more about the quality of it. So the first 3 transactions, they are going to have a lot more shadowing, and as they progress, they will ramp up in their interaction, their direct interaction engagement with the clients, and I'll sort of pull away a little bit more, or Alex will. But by the last 3 transactions, they're expected to operate pretty independently, and of course, we're still there to support them, right? During these 6 transactions, they also attend a session of 8 training sessions. They're all structured, they're all written out. They're not long. They're usually twice a week, maybe 90 minutes, and then 30 minutes afterwards for questions, role playing. We do a lot of role playing. So if an agent, if we get a lead and they've never called one yet and they need to call to try to book that buyer consultation, we role play, and we start with a script, but of course as they internalize it, it becomes their own script, right? We start with a script because we believe that's an easier way for them to really understand the key points that they need to hit and not forget to close. So those 8 classes happen. During that time, we're also teaching them how to market to their own sphere because we want them to build their own business. We actually have a hybrid program where they can actually stay on the team and they can have independent business. So they don't necessarily have to make a choice ever, okay? And so teaching them to market to their own sphere so they can build their business. Of course, we want to teach them all about the offerings that Side has and the opportunities that Side has to help them build their businesses as well. Once they graduate and they are now a Rainmaker, they can, if they want to, roll right into another set of training courses on converting and working with sellers. But even in those first 6 transactions, we're not all, you're just a buyer's agent, right? We don't even, I mean, we like to call all of our agents partners. That's kind of the title we give to everybody, just out of respect. And actually, it shows better to the client in the end. We're not, putting a junior agent on your transaction. We're putting one of our partners on. They're going to be just as good as us, because we're going to be in the background making sure. But a lot of times, our agents have an opportunity to join us on listings from the beginning as well. They don't have to just start as a buyer's agent.
So, okay, lots of little nuggets in there. Just this is a question for the group. How many of you actually do role plays and script practice with your teams? Let's see by hands. All right. So I'm huge on that. Like every day. Like, I want our agents to come in and do a daily huddle. Then we practice scripts for 30 minutes, and then we get on the phones and prospect for an hour. And that culture of productivity gets our teams producing. And so I love that you're doing that. Do you have a favorite script?
Do I have a favorite script?
Yeah.
Well, the first one is most important. It's the hardest one for them to learn because it's the first one. And it's basically to book that initial consultation. The second one is a bit more challenging, which is now you've got the consultation time, you're in front of them. We used to do it in person. We went to Zoom. Hopefully, we're going to go back to doing in-person consultations soon, if, provided buyers and sellers are interested in that. But converting, asking for the business at the end of that meeting, trying to close on them to be a committed buyer. And we actually have all of our buyers sign a buyer-broker agreement. So doing that close is hard, right? But the first one is my favorite because it's the most fun. They can learn it, if they really embrace it, and then they have a little more confidence to move on to the next level.
I love that. So, all right, Brian, so how has scripts played a role in your integration of Zillow Flex into your business? And what have you learned with that? Like, I learned some pretty cool stuff.
Well, we have to do the ALM, which I think everybody knows. It's set that appointment right away. And
But, have you turned that into, all of your leads? Like, are you using it with everybody now?
For the most part, we are, because we actually don't hand off leads to our team. We hand off opportunities. And the difference is our team is never going to get a cold lead where they have 100 people in front of them and they have to call every single one of them that day and then text them the next day. We don't do that. We have an outside company in Texas called Rockerbox that does that for us. And then what they'll do is when that client is ready to actually speak to an agent or a loan officer, that's when we get notified. Right. So while we were generating enough leads for our team, we weren't generating enough opportunities for the last couple months, and that's when we made that change. So essentially, when they are getting those leads, it's on their phone, they get an email, and it's set an appointment and go get after it.
And Brian, you can't give them 25 opportunities a month, can you?
We can. That is very difficult
can,
and very
but
expensive.
should you?
We should not. So we actually had that conversation. Ideally, if you're getting just cold leads, it's about 25 a month. But after having a conversation with you and Cleve, we found it best to do 8 to 10 opportunities per month. And that way they're doing enough showings, paying enough attention to those active clients.
One of the big things with high volume lead generators, and a lot of our clients use Boomtown and Sync, and they use Zillow or Flex or all the different programs that are out there, is if you have an abundance of leads, it creates a culture of laziness. But if there's a scarcity of leads and you're only going to get a certain many, then you treat them differently. You really nurture and work them because you're not going to get more than you can handle.
Right.
And so that's the mindset that we want to create, is this little bit of scarcity. So we only have a few minutes left. I want to get, I don't know, does anybody have questions? I want to get questions from the audience. There's a couple from the audience. While we do that, Jeff, I want to know something hard that you've done that you wish you would have done sooner. Like here you are in business, what's something hard that you wish you would have done sooner in your career that would help some of these people that are going right now?
I think it's awareness, and honestly, it was getting coaching to become aware of all the things that you do on a daily basis that you fool yourself that you think you're doing it right, basically. So there's things that you need to correct, but you just bury them and you just put them off on the blind spots and then just get busy doing something else. So I think it's all just about awareness and becoming aware of all the shortfalls of the things we do as leaders and calling ourselves on our own crap. It really is. I mean, that's hard thing to do, but I think that's the biggest lesson we've learned this year, for sure.
So I love that awareness. So a lot of people think accountability is like a bad word, but it's really just awareness. It's like if you become aware of what's going on, and most of you are intelligent enough to change your behavior. Like if someone's taking your money, you're going to move the money. They're not going to keep taking it. Yep. But if you don't track it, you think they're taking it, but you're not sure.
Well,
So you leave
leadership
it-
is leading by example, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Dana, what's something that you've done that was hard that you wish you would have known sooner? Like, I wish I would have done this sooner. Partner with Jeff, maybe?
Had I, no. You know, I was never really on board to necessarily start a team. That wasn't in my game box, and I did fight it.
I know.
I know, and I'm still, you know, so I still sit back, and then you have those weeks, and it's just like, oh my God, can it just be us again? And then, but all in all, I should have just relented, you know, a year earlier to be able to really get into the groove, because I'm seeing a difference now. And I have such respect for all of the agents that work with us in our team, and we truly enjoy working together and are willing to, I can't tell you how important it is that not only Jeff and I, but to have each of our teams there, they've really shown compassion, and they team up and they care about themselves. And they have some, you know, some rough roads sometimes, but they scream, and it's just like having a brother and sister.
No, I love it.
You know, they do their stuff, and then they come back, and everybody starts again, but they know that there is security there, more so than being in this big, huge office with 300 agents
And I love that you have your boys in the
and
business.
my boys. Yeah,
It's
tell
fun
them
to see them grow and progress and like kick butt.
They have.
Let's go back here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Legier from San Francisco, and my question is, how do you talk to agents that you know in your market, that you knew before, who you think would be a really good fit to be an office agent, to get them over that psychological hurdle that they're now working under your name?
All of our
If that
agents
makes
are
sense.
that.
Does anyone have office agents as you described them?
Yeah, we do. We don't have any, we don't bring any new agents on, because we don't.
They
we
recruit
really
only
don't know what
experienced
to-
agents.
No,
Agents.
that's not what I mean. So you're recruiting an experienced agent, and they're saying, well, yeah, but, you know, I don't need to work for Jeff and Dana. I have my own thing. But you're saying, no, you're working for Frontgate. What is that conversation
Correct.
like?
Correct.
that's a great question. So we provide a service. So we basically, when someone comes on our team, it's to keep them busy and keep everything that they hate doing, we do for them. It's the marketing, it's the coaching, it's you know, the awareness. We have huddles every day at 9 o'clock, and we just keep them out there on the road. We keep them doing what they love doing, which is selling houses. So the percentages that they pay, we provide a value proposition to them of all, and we do it really good. You know, we were sitting down this morning, we had $6 million of deals happen right there while we were sitting there because of online leads that came in that the agents were nurturing, and they're texting us like so elated and happy. And quite frankly, we get more excited if an agent does $1.5 million deal and it changes their lives more than if we get a $10 million sale, because we've done it for so long and it's fun and we love the money. But when it changes that mindset of that agent, because we know that's going to grow and grow and it's going to spread out within the rest of the environment. So we provide a value proposition for the split. That's it. And if they want to keep on the hamster wheel, they can.
And they do struggle sometimes.
People struggle because their egos are big, right? But I just ask people, what's more important to you, your name on the sign or the amount of money you take home to your family? I see you did 3 deals last year. Like, you want to make some real money?
Yeah.
Like, let's put you in an environment where you can do 40, right? Or you can put your name on the sign and continue in your mediocrity. I'm sorry, but I'm serious.
But having 2 agents that have come on and have experienced, or they've been there a few months and they see the opportunities, is like having a name on our sign. And they will talk and they will come. We get calls all the time from agents that have been in the business for years. And so it's not as difficult now as it was in the very beginning.
Success is the great recruiter, right? So remember that. Brian, real quick, with you, what about whose name's on the sign? Do you let your agents keep their own? Do you put your name on it? Is it the team name?
So the way we built our listing signs is just says Mint, and that's it. It's just our logo, and then underneath that we have the sign writers with the agents' names and their phone numbers. So if they bring the listing to the table, we're still going to manage it with them and take it on, but they're going to learn through that process with us, and then any lead that comes through that ends up being a lead that goes directly to them.
The reason most people want their names on the sign is so they can get on the Wall Street Journal and have it be under their name. But like, put your egos aside, and like, if you've got a good people that want to have their name on the sign, let them have their name on the sign. I don't care whose name's on the sign. I want to go fishing. I want to go to all my kids' ball games. Like, I don't care if my name's on the sign. So if I can create an environment that allows other people to succeed, you know, I don't know. I'm just like, it just doesn't matter to me anymore. It used to. It used to be, I used to be, everything was Viral Workman, and I just don't care anymore. Now I want to elevate the people around me because it allows me to have a better life.
Right, we didn't call it the Glass Hill Group for a reason.
Right. I love that. I love that.
Could we have just one more question or two?
Sure.
Really fast?
We'll
I
stay
know
as
we're
long as
a
you
little
guys
bit
want.
at time.
We're here. Let's make them
I
kick
mean,
us out.
I think this is the end of the sessions. Right after this is Genius Bar, which is going until 6.
Genius
So
Bar.
if you guys are okay for a few more minutes, or if you want to leave, that's fine too. But we have
Let's
two
do
more
one more question, and we'll wrap it up.
Well, this is a question comment because I wanted to say something about Danielle's question about what do we do as partners when experienced agents are reluctant to work, quote, under us, to work as part of our brand. And I think it's not just about offering value, but it's about being sure that our egos aren't out front and that your brand, your agency becomes your agency, your company. It's no longer Danielle's company. And getting that across, just like Side is on our side, we want to be on the side of the people who work with us.
Do you have a question?
No,
right,
actually,
thank
I
you.
just wanted to.
All right. Well, thank
Say
you for
something.
that. So are we out of time, or are you going to do a
Yeah, we
question?
are, but
Okay.
one more
Okay. You have to ask a question. Give me a question. Thank you for your comments.
This is an actual question. Thanks for letting the last question come over here. So when you have office agents, how do you handle the splits for them? I think I heard numbers like 80-20 coming out. But does that include the side split? And then do you not have them capped, or they don't know about the cap?
So you really shouldn't talk about that from the stage. Every broker has the ability to create their own compensation programs within their office, and so I'm gonna answer that so so nobody gets in trouble. If you talk about commissions from the stage at a national event, then that could be perceived as setting standards for the industry, and that's frowned upon by our code of ethics. Okay, but go over to you know what I would recommend you do? Go over to the Genius Bar. Like, I'm going to go hang out over there. You guys come over to the Genius Bar. There's amazing side people there for the next couple hours. We'll just be there to answer questions. What do you think of our panel, everybody? Let's give them a big hand.